What?
Whiskey!
Right?
Oh god, how long until we get that?
Hey everyone, I'm Chris from Whiskey and a Hammock, and today we have a special edition we're here with Lacie, and she brought Blackened, the whole lineup, which I'm super excited. So Lacie, tell us a little bit about what you do and why you have all these awesome bottles.
So I actually work for RNDC, and I am part of their newest division called the Artisan Division. So we basically take these new up-and-coming brands or smaller independently owned distilleries and that maybe don't have as much information out there, aren't as well known, and we get the word out. We help build these brands, and Blackened is one of them.
That seems amazing because I've been a Metallica fan since high school. I mean, I went to the Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and Faith No More concert in Buffalo in '92, and it was awesome. So when I heard, when you said you were coming to do this, I was super excited, and plus you have a whole lineup. So you have 4 different expressions that we get to try today.
Yes. So we have their regular flagship whiskey. Then we also have their 3 limited time offerings. Some of these are going to be a bit harder to find because once they're gone, they're gone. So these are, bottles that I have that I just brought because I really wanted you to try them.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Definitely. So, so usually we do just a little bit of history, a little bit, so where did it come from? Where did Blackened come from?
So Blackened is actually the product of Dave Pickerell and Metallica. This is something that they collaborated on and created themselves. Dave Pickerell, he is from Maker's Mark. He's worked on Whistle Pig, and then this was his last project before his passing in 2018. So he launched the brand with the band. They came up with this really cool aging process, which we'll discuss later. But it's just, in my humble opinion, Dave Pickerell was a whiskey genius, and that's definitely rings true here. It's a beautifully done whiskey. And now they have Rob Dietrich, who started with them in 2019.
Right.
And he came from Stranahan's, and he's just really well known for these insane blends and barrel aging with different casks. He likes to think outside the box, so I think he was the perfect person to fill Dave's shoes.
Okay. The crazy thing, because we've reviewed so many whiskeys, and like you said, it's I think somebody's coined it perfectly. He's the Johnny Appleseed of whiskey.
Yeah.
So the ones that you mentioned, we found out he was involved in St. Augustine.
Yes.
He was involved in Hill Rock. So I mean, he really has kind of touched everyone in the industry. And like you said, this was his last offering, and he said that they came courting him. It was like, hey, we wanted to make a whiskey, so they also went to the best person in the industry.
Absolutely.
And he was just so happened to be a Metallica fan. And I just so happened to know that his 3 favorite songs were Unforgiven, Unforgiven 2, and Motor Breath.
Yes.
So that was pretty wicked. All right, so which one are we going to do first? We do the original one? The first one?
Yeah, I guess we'll start down the line
Okay.
as far as the releases. So the flagship Blackened, it is a ex-black brandy cask finish, and that and the rye are both 90 proof.
Okay.
So the process that I was talking about that they use, this is something that Dave Pickerell created with the band, and it's really unique, and in my opinion, as a Metallica fan too, so cool.
Right.
But, they call it their black noise sonic enhancement,
Mm-hmm.
and what they do is they have a device, kind of like a speaker, in their rick house that they actually use to blast the Metallica music at the barrels. Causes the liquid inside to move in and out of the staves so much quicker and differently than it would naturally, and it's going to impart so much more on the whiskey as far as color, aroma, taste. It's a really cool process, and the awesome thing is, this is where the band is most heavily involved. They pick the playlists.
Oh, right.
So it's so cool, and you can actually go onto the website and pull up the batch number on the top necker of your bottle, and you can listen to the playlist that helped create your bottle.
What? So batch 129, you can go then find that batch, and then find the list of the playlist?
Yep,
That
if
they
you
use
go
for that
on
one?
blackenedwhiskey.com, there's actually a section at the bottom where you can actually search your batch number, and you can listen to the music. That's kind of become like my little routine, because I love to drink whiskey and listen to music to unwind, so I love doing that.
Yeah, definitely. That's something I think I need to do that more often. Go to the Metallica website or the Blackened website. Okay, like you said, so the original one you said is that's aged in what, black brandy.
Mm-hmm.
So blackened black brandy. It just kind of obviously all makes sense.
Oh yeah.
That does have a really good flavor.
Yeah, I kind of fell in love with this whiskey originally when I first tried this one, and then finding out that they had these other releases, I was sold.
Yeah. So I mean, can you pick out the different flavors? Because like I said, I'm still working at it. Sometimes I get it, and like I really feel like I always kind of pick out the same things. Like, oh, it's brown sugar, and, vanilla, the things. But I think that this definitely has a different, just a slightly fruitier aspect.
Yeah, it does a little bit. That's one thing that I love about the sonic enhancement process that they use is it makes it, in some cases, a bit more pronounced, and you get more baking spice out of the whiskey because of that process. So, yes, in this one, I definitely got burnt sugar or brown sugar.
Right.
I kind of get like a little bit of almost like a corn flavor to it. And each batch is going to be a little different because the different playlists that they use are going to affect the whiskey differently. So each one might taste a little different. I know the first one I tried, I got a lot of honey out of it, nutmeg.
Ah, okay.
So they're all going to be slightly different.
So the first batch, so then this is probably what, fifth, fourth bottle of blackened already?
Somewhere around there.
And Dave Prickle said that he wanted to make sure that it wasn't just a gimmick, right?
Right.
So that he put it in front of people and they can taste the difference between one that was used with the what's called black noise, right?
Yes.
The black noise compared to not using that.
Yes.
So that's that's pretty awesome. And like you said that you personally have tasted a bunch of different batches already.
Yeah, I've tried a few, and it's not going to be vastly different, but you'll catch little different notes in different batches. Something that's a bit more pronounced than the rest of them.
All right, so now, so normally, like on Whiskey Hammock, we we taste it three different ways. We do it straight, right out of the bottle, and we add ice because sometimes ice will make a difference. Mm-hmm. So now, do you do that? Do you add ice at all too, or you always do it straight?
Very occasionally. I mean, if I'm trying something new, I like to see how it tastes under different circumstances. But I'm usually a neat girl.
Well, I brought some ice, and I have some since we're doing a tasting.
Yeah.
So I had super cool ice cubes for this, but I think they're way too big. So these are my favorite Skull ice cubes. Might be a little bit big for this, so I did bring some.
The skulls are very fitting for the Metallica.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. So I don't know if you want ice or not.
Sure, I'll try it with a little bit of ice.
Do you want a small cube?
That's fine. Thank you.
Sure. Because I know that sometimes when we review something, add ice, and sometimes it makes it better. It just opens it up more.
Yeah.
And sometimes they add ice, like, oh, I like it better straight. To me, it usually seems like when you add ice, it usually brings out some of the like fruitier and it usually brings out the sweetness more.
Yeah.
And ice kind of opens up just a little bit. That's why I chose the small cubes. I think the big skulls would have been way too much.
Yeah,
way
exactly.
too much for this one. But I don't know. I think with a couple small cubes, I kind of liked it. It kind of opened up a little bit more.
Yeah, it feels a bit milder, but like you said, it brought out a little bit of sweetness. I do like it.
All right, so then which one do we move on to next?
So the next we're going to try is the Ride the Lightning, which was, of course, named after Metallica's album Ride the Lightning. Mm-hmm. So this one is going to be a blend of rye and it's double cask. It's aged and finished in Madeira and rum casks. And this one age range is going to be about 5 to 8 years on the blends.
5 to 8 years?
Combined.
Yeah, because the first one is usually about 8 years too on this one, right?
Yes, that one is usually about 8.5 years before they put it in the black brandy casks and start the sonic enhancement process.
Okay. That was the other crazy thing. So I was looked up. So they have their own distillery, right? It's called Sweet Amber Distillery.
Yes.
So I looked up and I'm like, all right, so where is the distillery? I'm like, if I want to go visit it. And as I looked at the address, like, okay, so it says Columbus, Ohio. Then I seen, Mineville, New York. I also seen Atlanta, Georgia on Flatbush Avenue. Atlanta, Georgia or Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. I'm like, so are they purposely trying to make sure that nobody knows where this Sweet Amber Distillery is?
It could be just because the process they use, they do have it patented. It could be they're just trying to cover their secrets, and
sure.
Honestly, when you have something this cool, I don't blame them.
No, not at all. All right, well, let's pop this one open.
All right. Thank you.
Of course.
So this one is a favorite for both my husband and I. He's not usually much of a whiskey drinker, but like this, when he tried it, when we got to meet with the Blackened people and go to the concert, like he was sold. We drank this all weekend.
Wait, so you met the people and went to the concert?
Yeah.
How do I get your job again? Man, that's awesome. That is so cool. That's awesome. So now I've never had Ride the Lightning. So like you said, it's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in the same sonic process, the same, with Black Noise, right?
Yes.
Black Noise process, and that it's, like you said, but it's finished in those two different casks, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so I've never had this before, so. Oh. Right off the nose, it doesn't even, has a different nose than a rye. Like,
yeah.
Obviously, a typical rye, you looking for all those spices right off the nose, and that, I don't know. Right off the nose, it kind of it kind of throws you off.
Yeah.
It's like you pick it out as a rye.
Oh yeah, it has that sweet aroma to it, that sweet nose. But a lot of ryes, I feel like people are turned off by them because they try a rye that's not. I want to say maybe too young or just not fitting their flavor profile,
mm-hmm.
and it's just too harsh for them. Ryes can be really great. They can be sweeter. They're great for mixing. I personally, like I said, I just drink them straight. But
mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people get turned off because they don't try the right rye. There's no wrong whiskey to drink. It's all about preference, and you just got to find the one that best suits your palate. But
mm-hmm.
I have to say, this one was a winner for me. I love Ride the Lightning.
Really? Okay. Well, I got to taste this now because I think I've never had it. That's interesting. Because it's like, I get the baking spices like off the, after the finish, but then it kind of hangs out, and I almost get like, like other things that like we've done before, but like I really get a heavy chocolate covered cherry, but I don't normally get that with a rye though.
Yeah.
So so is that because like the Madeira cask finish? I don't know.
I'm not quite sure if that's like a combination between the cask finish and the process that they use, the Black Noise.
Okay.
Because I feel like I've tried. Honestly, with these two, I've tried their collaboration, and then this next to each other.
Yeah.
And it's just completely changes the whole profile of it. So I really feel like that process does so much justice for these.
All right. Well, I'm going to add a couple small cubes.
Sure.
You as well, or
sure? I'll try it.
You're like, wait a minute, this is my favorite whiskey you're messing with.
No, it's always good to try new things.
So what do you think is that's different flavor wise from this?
Honestly, on this one, I feel like it almost cut some of the sweetness.
Okay.
I mean, at least that's what I'm getting.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, I think that a little bit of ice to the original Blackened kind of open up a little bit, but I think for Ride the Lightning, I would just prefer it straight.
Yeah.
And I've had other ryes that were rum finish. I wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like the rum finishes usually make the whiskey much sweeter than it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a big fan of that. But I've found a couple that I did like, but it's not something that I would go out looking for.
Right.
But I feel like the balance between the rum and the Madeira on this, and then, like I said, the enhancement process just really makes it so amazing.
Well, it's funny because, like, you know, thinking about it, I think on the back of my tongue, that last, like, I got like a sugar rush.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, because, like, you know, I don't get that heavy, like, you know, rye aspect, or like, you know, the rum aspect, I guess, the rum finish aspect to it. Because I'm wondering if that's, you know, like, this tempered, so that, you know, that does have a good flavor to it.
Yeah.
You know, that was very interesting. All right, so now, what's next? We have what are the other two?
So these are from what they call their Master of Whiskey series.
Okay.
So what they do, it's called Blackened X, and these are limited time offerings. And what they do is they collaborate with another well-known distiller that really knows what they're doing.
Right.
And they take their liquid and they put it through their Black Noise Sonic Enhancement. So the first release, their inaugural one, was with Willett. So they partnered up with Krew from Willett, and he and Rob Dietrich, the master distiller for Blackened, they, on their Master of Whiskey series, they actually let the master distillers pick the playlists instead of the band. And then Lars, the drummer, he puts them all together. Okay. So this one, the Willett, was actually, the whole playlist was picked by Rob Dietrich and Drew Goldsbein.
Okay.
So this one, it's going to be a blend of approximate age is about 6.5 years on that one.
Okay.
It's going to come in at 109.6 proof. And it's a blend of high and low rise from Willett.
Oh, all right.
And it's also finished in a Madeira cask as well.
Ah, but so the Madeira cask only. That's nothing else.
Nope.
And
no rum on this one.
And you said this is coming at 106?
It's going to be coming in at 109.
Oh, 109. So 109. Yeah. So higher than both of these, huh?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, you know, is this it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So this one, for me, I absolutely loved it. I was already a bit of a Willett fan, so I knew I just had to try this one. But like I said, tried it side by side with a comparable Willett, and it just completely changed things about the flavor profile and the nose on it. I really think it's so cool how they do that.
And so, like, you know, how different was it from, like, the Willett you said, like, you know, because you did a side by side?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually did a side-by-side on both of their Blackened X bottles that I have.
Okay.
And honestly, on both of them, I feel like I really feel like that whole process brings out, like I said, more of the baking spice. You get a little bit sweeter on the nose than you would normally from these distillers. And I don't know, there were some things that it was hard for me to pick up on what I was tasting and smelling, but it just... Like I said, it just changed it just enough that it was noticeable, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is intriguing."
No, and that's the thing. Like, you know, when you find out, like, you know, trying to review and taste everything, and like we talked to different master distillers, and like, so how do you pull the flavors out? And basically, we've been told, like, go and taste everything. Mm-hmm. So that's the only way you can try to taste it and try to put it in your memory bank so they can pull it up. Like the last one that we did, the Fighting 69th. I told Eric that, like, cardamom was one of the spices, and he's like, "Dude, I totally get it. Now that you said it, I totally get it." I still have a hard time trying to pull, like, okay, I taste something, but I can't place what I'm tasting.
Yeah, and see, I think the reason the baking spices stand out for me is because I do so much baking at home. Like, I literally, you name it, I bake it. So I think that's why that stands out to me, because I'm so used to being around that and tasting that. And I do enjoy it. So.
All right, so how much whiskey do you use in your baking?
Well, I've been known to throw a little bit of sweet whiskey in my frosting for cupcakes before, but those are for the grown-ups.
Okay, all right. Ah. It's different on the nose.
Right.
Holy. That is way different than Ride the Lightning.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I feel like you almost, like, you get a little bit on the front, but as it rolls down to the back of your mouth, you almost get, like, that, almost like a honey and butterscotch at the same time. And it's sweet, but it's not overpowering. And I love this one.
Wow. No, that has a tremendous amount more, flavor, or like I said, spices that kind of hit you than this one.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's, like I said, so that's just the willet with, the black noise process. Oh, yeah, that, so far, I think, that one's awesome.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'm impressed. Okay, now I gotta do a couple cubes.
You know what, I'll try it as well, because I've never had this on ice before, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
It already smells a bit sweeter.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it would make sense, because this is, like, and I think that, that term gets kind of thrown around a lot, is flavor bomb.
Mm-hmm.
But that, then, I mean, that would fit the category.
Oh, yeah. It's got so, like, you literally just, you take a sip and you let it roll around your mouth, and it's just so intense right away. Even if you can't pick up on what you're tasting, there's so many flavors going on.
Oh, no, definitely. I definitely agree with you there, because like I said, this is something that you want to sit and kind of, enjoy the flavor. Just kind of let it, like you said, let it wash down. I can see definitely, picking the playlist, listening to that while sipping on it for sure. Okay. No, yeah, the ice tamed it down a little bit.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have that I mean, I guess almost that little punch in the beginning, and cuts down that alcohol, punch on it. But
oh yeah, I feel like it hits the front of your tongue right away as soon as you take a sip. But this definitely tamed it down. You're right.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think? Ice or no ice? Oh, this is a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one because it's good with the ice, but honestly, I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to my whiskeys. Sure. I like to try it both ways, but I really appreciate a neat whiskey. Mm-hmm. So I think this one's good either way, but I think I'm still gonna stick to it neat.
Well, yeah, like you said, you want that flavor bomb or that flavor explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it neat for sure.
It's got so much character.
No, it does. 100%. Oh, yeah. Nope, that was really good.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said, like, I really feel like between Dave and Rob, like, they are just geniuses when it comes to this stuff. They, like, Rob gets so into the science of it and with whiskey making, and I feel like everything that they have been a part of, every project, I've yet to find something I didn't like, but
really?
This is definitely one that, this is a staple in my home. I love, like, the whole lineup. Yeah. Always on my bar.
Okay.
Definitely helps that I'm a huge fan of the band.
Oh, no. And, I totally agree. I totally get you. I get where you're coming from. You have, I guess these different expectations, because so many people are jumping into, like, the whiskey arena, right? Because it's become so popular. Bands, people, famous people are coming out with whiskeys, all the time. And you wonder, like, because when if they source it, and they're just like you said, coming from another distillery, are you getting the same juice just with a different name?
Exactly.
So obviously with Blackened, that's not happening.
Exactly, and it's also really refreshing to see for a change, and it's not always this case, but I've seen more often than not there are so many celebrities that will endorse a brand and just sign their name to it, get a paycheck, and then they're done. They don't drink it, they don't promote it. I don't. If you're not going to drink your own product, why do I want to drink it?
Right. No.
At least with Metallica, like, they're involved. Like, they promote it, they drink it. Like, I cannot count how many drinks I saw the band have before and after the concert. Like, they really, you can tell this is a labor of love for them. They really enjoy what they're doing.
No kidding. No, yeah. So, like, so afterwards, like, when they see this review, they're going to be, wow, that was an amazing review. You guys are awesome.
I hope so. I'll take free concert tickets. I'm just saying.
You know what? We'll come there and shoot a video. Hey, if you want to do a review with us, right?
Yeah.
Come on. You're like, totally. Come on down. We'll do it.
I'll bring all my bottles out again.
Perfect. Well, I wonder how many secret bottles they have. Because this other thing I noticed too is like they said they have you said patents for this black noise, but they have some other secrets that Rob was talking about that they haven't released yet because they haven't been patented or I guess the patent hasn't come through yet.
Yeah, and I can't even imagine what they have going on in there. Honestly, I would love to be able to just see in person how it's done. Like, I want to be able to see, like, what device you use. I just kind of want to, just out of curiosity, see the whole thing.
Well, I did find out, like, because they use Meyer Sound. That's the same. So the same people that do this, all the amps, all the music, all the sound for Metallica, right? So they tap them to do this black noise.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, they said it was that low level, or was it, low
frequency.
Yeah, low frequency. Yeah. So that way it really agitates, all that, all the whiskey in those barrels.
Exactly.
All right, so we got one more, right?
Yeah. So this is their latest release. This is the Blackened X Wes Henderson. Wes Henderson was actually he's now retired, but he was the co-founder for Angel's Envy.
Okay.
So this is going to be a 6-year Kentucky bourbon. It is aged in white port wine barrels. And this one is going to be the highest proof out of the lineup here. It's going to come in at 116.2.
Ooh.
This one is, in my opinion, this one is a bit sweeter than the Willet.
Okay.
I get a crazy amount of baking spices on this one. I have a few customers that they really kind of have that sweet tooth when I take something in for them to try it.
Yeah. They
all loved it. Like, they literally, when they brought it in, they cracked open a bottle and they tried it and they loved it.
So this one, the Wes Anderson. Okay.
I have to say, they really knew what they were doing with these two. That process just totally makes it phenomenal. All 4 of them are beautifully done, but I have to say, this one really impressed me.
Okay, all right. So, I'm excited. So, all right, let's pour this one. So this is the Wes Henderson, like you said, from Angel's Envy.
Correct.
Collabed with, Rob Dietrich.
Yes. And it's like even the color on this one is a little bit darker.
All right, you gotta check that out. Kentucky, so... And this is this is a rye, right?
Correct.
There's that's a high and low rye, and this is straight bourbons.
Yes.
So totally different.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean that's a pretty dark color.
Yeah, it's got that beautiful almost like a golden amber color to it.
Okay. Oh yeah, this smells way. I mean, it was way different, obviously than.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I almost get apples off the nose.
Yeah, this one has, like I said, it's got a ton of baking spice to it, but it has that fruitier aspect. It almost, the nose almost reminds me of a pie.
Well, and you said white port wine. I've never had white port wine.
Honestly, I haven't either.
I never even heard of it before.
I've seen it, but I'm not a big port drinker. I love things that are aged in port if it's done properly, but this one, I don't know if it's the finish on it with the white port barrel or what, but like I said, you just get so many different sweet aromas and flavors. It just reminds me of a dessert.
No, all right. Oh, okay. Wow.
It's it almost has a creamy mouthfeel to it. It's got a tiny bit of bite, tiny bit of kick to it.
Tiny bit? I feel more of a kick than that.
I mean, for the proof that it is, it's you definitely get the kick on it. But,
sure.
I feel like I get it more in the back of my mouth, so it takes a minute to hit me.
Oh yeah, I feel it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that little bit of kick, but it's interesting. He said it's another one compared to these two. Like this one, it has a ton of flavor to it.
Yeah.
And like you said, but it's interesting. Like you say baking spices, and I get that. Like I said, I smelled apples right from the get go, and I can, but it's not a rye, and that's where you usually get your baking spices from.
Yeah, and that was what kind of threw me off. And like when I first tried this, I was like, no. Like I went out and bought the bottle. I was like, no, I gotta look at the tasting profile on this again. I'm tasting something wrong, and I mean, you don't taste something wrong when you taste a whiskey. Everybody's palate's going to be different, but I was like, no, this doesn't taste like a bourbon. But yeah, no, like I said, just between that nose where you get the fruits and you get the spices and like then that almost weird creamy mouthfeel that it has, it just reminds me of like a dessert. It's almost like an apple pie with ice cream or something.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I don't know what it is about it. That's the first thing I think when I smell it.
Well, like you said, but it's very interesting for a bourbon to feel like that.
Exactly.
So it kind of, like you said, I always thought, one of my favorite things to do is like do blind. Whenever I have no idea what I'm drinking, and that way, that way you have no preconceived notions, and you get to taste it. But gosh, I mean, these two. Like I said, I did a blind and I picked out Joseph Magnus because it is so different and it has, like I said, so many flavors to it. I can feel I think that these two, if they were in a blind lineup, I could definitely pick these up for sure. Yeah,
they do have a lot of character to them. That's for sure.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna add a couple cubes. Okay. You do some as well, or
sure.
Just to make sure, I'm not gonna ruin your whiskey.
You're good. Thank you.
Sure. Oh yeah, I mean this smells like like you said, the brown sugar and comes way more than the Willet X.
Yeah, I feel like the ice cuts down a little bit on the bite and you get a little bit more of that sweetness.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't know, I mean, almost like initially, I think I would prefer a couple of cubes with this one, just because I can get a little bit more of that, the flavor profiles kind of jump out at you just a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like I said, it is pretty smooth for the proof on it, but cutting down that proof a little bit, and nothing against high proof, I love high proof whiskey.
Oh, of course.
But cutting down that proof a little bit, it gives you more of a chance to taste the other flavors in it.
Right. Well, see, then, this thing I always wondered too is when with the master distiller or the master blender when they proof it down. So when did they proof it down? To what point? You know what? This is the one. This is the proof that we think is going to be where you get the most out of it, right?
Yeah.
Or I mean, it's not the other way, right? Where they proof it down, okay, how many bottles can we make?
I would hope not, but
maybe some.
Maybe some of the more widely distributed stuff, but hopefully nobody in my portfolio.
No, of course not. Of course not.
But no, like I said, this just trying them and stuff. This is why I love this lineup so much. There's each one is going to be a little bit different, and like I said, these are just the first two in their Master of Whiskey series. I believe that they're going to be doing more in the future, where Rob is going to be collaborating with another well-known distiller. So I'm really excited to see what comes out in the future.
Yeah, I mean, like you said already. So the first one was with Willet, with Drew Cusby. This one was with what was his name?
Wes Henderson.
Wes Henderson. I mean, it's on the bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I've had too many already. But anyways, Wes Henderson, yes, from Angel's Envy. So and obviously there's so many talented people out there.
Exactly.
That are doing distilling and blending. I didn't realize that can be an art in itself, just blending. So somebody's not a master distiller, but they're a master blender. So somebody that has a palate to pick those things out, and what? Yeah, this barrel's going to be awesome.
Yes. And honestly, I couldn't imagine having a job like that. That's got to be so much fun to be able to just go in and try different whiskeys and just, I want this one, and we're going to mix them together. But I'm completely content to just drink it and try the final product.
I'm fine with that too. But what about the pressure? What if you pick a barrel and oh, that one sucked? What would people say, right?
You're I guess I'm drinking this whole barrel by myself.
or would you do that on purpose? I guess I gotta take this one home. This one's awful. Sorry, guys.
Darn.
If I told you to pick your favorite, could you pick your favorite out of the lineup? Is that something that you would do, especially here on camera?
Honestly, it's a tie for me.
Oh yeah.
It's between the Willet and the Rye the Lightning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those two are my favorite. Like I said, I really love all four of them. In fact, the only thing that they have out that I have yet to try is their cast strength.
Oh, okay.
So the regular Blackened, they do a cast strength version of that, and I've been trying to find it. Even like to sell it to somebody, I have no inventory, so I couldn't sell it to anybody.
What do you mean?
So
But you got it in the industry. Like you're like, hey, I need a bottle.
You know, apparently I have bad friends. But honestly, that's the only one that I don't personally own.
Okay.
And as soon as I see it come in to one of my accounts, I'm gonna, because I love to support my own customers, so I buy everything from my accounts.
Oh, awesome.
But as soon as I see it land, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna buy a bottle, and you know, maybe we can get together and try it. See what you think.
Yeah, no, definitely. You get a bottle, you let me know 100%. Yes, come on, we'll do it. I will be there. 100%. Yes, for sure. And I think that the Blackened is kind of almost like for anybody. Anybody that wants to drink whiskey, this is a good, easy drinker.
It is.
It has
it's
good
very
flavor.
Light.
Yes, it's something different. Has a different flavor, so it has something something for everybody. But I think that for those whiskey connoisseurs, someone that's looking for that punch, a little extra,
Oh yeah.
the X series for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
See, this is for my everyday drinking. This is when I want to be a whiskey snob. So,
Okay, all right, perfect.
So one other thing that Blackened has been doing pretty recently that I wanted to bring out and show you that I think is really cool.
Okay.
So it's no secret if you're a fan of Metallica that James Hetfield is a cigar fanatic.
Oh,
I cannot count how many times I've seen that man with a cigar.
Really?
Which is cool. Like I love cigars myself. It's always nice to sit there, especially if you find one that pairs really well with a good whiskey.
Yes, of course.
There is no better combination other than adding the music. But
so trifecta. So you get the whiskey,
Exactly.
the cigar, and the music. You're out.
exactly.
You're there.
And that's what you can do for Blackened. They actually have these really great cigars. It is called the M81. It is, and this is actually for you to try out. So this is actually
a
full Madura cigar. This was actually created in collaboration with Jonathan Drew from Drew Estates, James Hetfield, and the master distiller Rob Dietrich. So I've seen James Hetfield with these pretty frequently since they released them, but I got to try one, and they are so good. And
Really?
Honestly, I tried it with a little bit of each of the whiskeys. It pairs well with every single one of them.
Now, see, I had no idea that they had their own cigars. And if you've seen the logo, I would point to my shirt. I'm wearing a Metallica shirt. Like, he's smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
So yes, so we are obviously big cigar fans, especially with whiskey.
Yes.
So, that's amazing. I had no idea that they had these.
Yeah, honestly, I really didn't either until we actually got a chance to listen to Rob and Jonathan Drew talk about it. And, it just, they come in a beautifully packaged. They smell so great. Even if and they're very easy. Even if you're not like a big cigar smoker, this is a really easy entry level one because it's got all these great flavors. It's not too harsh. Like, I love this one. But same thing, like if you go onto their website, blackenedwhiskey.com, under their products tab, there's actually like where you can see retailers that carry each thing that they sell, and it'll actually show you the retailers for the cigars as well.
What?
So anybody that sells the Drew Estate cigars should have them.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Because they said I'm a big cigar fan, and one of my favorites are Maduros.
Yes.
I know. I just like the darker wrapper. Like, I guess that's where I started. So, oh man, that's super exciting. Oh yeah, that's awesome. That is great. Very cool. So, is like anything else?
That's pretty much
That's
it.
pretty much it.
Yeah, I think honestly I'm probably going to go home tonight and do my usual weekend ritual for Friday nights and have a glass of one of the Blackened and listen to my music.
That sounds amazing. I mean, I wish I had some whiskey at home. I don't know if I have any at home to drink, but I think I can find something in my whiskey cabinet. I may have a few.
We'll
That sounds like a good
something.
idea. Well, I want to thank you so much, Lacie, for coming out and bringing these bottles. It was an amazing time. Like I said, these were awesome. I haven't been able to try. I tried just this one. Being able to try these other two, I would definitely go pick these up, because if you want the flavor, that's where it's at.
Oh yeah.
Easy drinkers for sure over on there on this side. So, we have reviews at whiskeyandhammock.com. Then we have the whiskey merch. You can get your shirts, hats, hammocks, backpacks at whiskeyandhammock.store. And again, thank you so much, Lacie, for coming out. I appreciate it.
Me. This was a lot of fun. I love getting your take on these whiskeys.
Oh, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right. I can leave you the motto on the way out. May the wind always wear your hammock, and may your glass never go dry. Cheers.